Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well informed. Today, we're tackling something really demanding, but maybe often overlooked. It's the life of night shift workers and that real struggle to stay healthy.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And we got a question that really sparked this deep dive. A listener mentioned a family member working like 7 p.m. to 9 a.m.
Wow, long shift.
Exactly. And getting maybe only 5, 6 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
often missing proper meals. The core question was, are those low-dose multivitamins or antioxidants a good idea? Or is there, well, a better way?
And that is exactly what we're jumping into today. Our mission, really, is to cut through some of the noise around supplements for night shift workers.
Okay.
We want to debunk some myths, maybe get us all thinking a bit more critically about health claims, and ultimately give you some practical, evidence-based solutions drawn from our sources.
Sounds good. And we've got some solid material, Professor Lynn's analysis, which includes insights from Dr. Emma Farley at Night Shift Wellness, plus guidelines from the American Nurse Journal and the U.S. CDC. So let's unpack it. Where do we start?
Well, the first big point, and this is straight from Professor Lynn, is kind of surprising. When you look at dietary supplements specifically for shift workers, the science is actually, it's pretty inconclusive.
Really?
Yeah.
Not what you'd expect with all the marketing.
Right. He points to a 2022 meta-analysis. It found pretty limited research, lots of variability between the studies. Basically, we need much better, more robust trials before we can say anything definite.
Okay, so the research isn't exactly giving supplements a glowing recommendation right off the bat.
Not at all.
And that brings us to something Dr. Emma Farley highlighted, which sounds, well, pretty important, about the supplement industry itself.
Yes, this is crucial. She really kind of pulls back the curtain. A lot of us assume supplements are regulated just like prescription drugs, but that's just not the reality.
Ah, okay. Big difference.
Huge difference. Dr. Farley warns that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and often it seems driven more by profit than, what consumers actually need.
So they can make claims that aren't fully backed up.
Exactly. Unfounded claims, using social media influencers, sometimes even myth-representing what's actually in the bottle. All because they don't face those really strict standards that pharmaceuticals do. It makes you question, are these things really helping?
Yeah, that definitely makes you think twice. So it sounds like, based on the science and how the industry works, maybe a lot of common supplements are, well, not really needed. Maybe even a waste of money.
That's often the conclusion, yeah.
Okay, so let's take omega-3s. They're everywhere. What's the deal there?
Well, interestingly, major heart health groups, like the Canadian Cardiovascular Association, they actually advise against the non-prescription omega-3 pills.
Oh.
Yeah. They say it's best to get omega-3s from your diet. Fish, certain seeds. It's a recurring theme, actually.
Okay. What about, say, B vitamins or vitamin C? People often grab those when they feel tired or run down.
Generally, most B vitamins aren't necessary unless there's a specific reason, like maybe B12 for strict vegetarians.
Right.
And glutathione, vitamin C, you can easily get enough from a decent diet. Think broccoli, oranges, leafy greens. Magnesium and probiotics. Mostly unnecessary for most people, too. Probiotic research is often quite mixed or just doesn't show a clear benefit.
And vitamin D. Everyone talks about vitamin D.
Yeah, but you can often get enough with just like 5 or 10 minutes of sun exposure a couple times a week, maybe on your days off or before a shift starts.
Okay. And iron. Does working nights automatically mean you need iron?
No, not automatically. Iron should really only be for diagnosed issues like iron deficiency anemia, not just because you work shifts. And Professor Lynn, he completely agrees with Dr. Farley's advice here, especially on multivitamins, often a waste, and some studies even hint at potential harm.
Wow. Okay, so if the supplement aisle isn't the answer, what should night shift workers, like our listener's family member, be focusing on? What does the actual evidence support?
Right, this is the important part. Professor Lynn, drawing on established guidelines, gives some really clear practical advice. The American Nurse Journal back in 2020, they really emphasized smart snacking.
Smart snacking meaning?
Light, nutritious things. Fruits, veggies, protein like nuts, eggs, yogurt, maybe some tuna, or a salad during the shift. Keep it light, but sustaining.
Makes sense. What else?
Meal timing is key. They stress eating your main meal before the shift starts. And trying to keep meals fairly regular across the whole 24-hour cycle seems to really help.
Okay, consistency. And caffeine. Always a big one for night shifts.
Yeah, they suggest moderation, maybe 100 to 200 milligrams. That's like 1 or 2 cups of coffee about 30 to 60 minutes before the shift starts. For alertness.
Yeah, but there's a catch, right?
Absolutely. And this is crucial. Avoid caffeine for 4 to 6 hours before you plan to sleep. It could really mess with your sleep, quality, efficiency, duration, getting that important deep sleep and REM sleep.
Right. Protect the sleep you do get. Got it. What should they avoid eating during the shift?
They advise steering clear of high-fat, high-sugar, high-carb stuff. Those can mess with your metabolism, make you feel tired, cause energy crashes.
Okay. And does the CDC have similar advice?
Very much so. Their 2020 suggestions for night shift nurses echo this. They recommend trying to minimize or even avoid eating between midnight and 6 a.m., trying to align, as much as possible, with normal circadian rhythms.
So maybe aiming for 3 main meals within the 24 hours.
Yeah, that's the general idea.
Hmm.
And maybe adding smaller, frequent energy boosts if needed. Quality food during the shift is key. Veggies, salads, soups, fruit, whole grain sandwiches, yogurt, cheese, eggs, nuts, green tea.
And definitely avoid those sugary, low-fiber carbs that just make you sleepy.
Exactly. Oh, and one more thing. Kind of interesting, they suggest eating with colleagues, if possible, in a comfortable place, away from the immediate work area.
Ah, that social aspect, creating a better environment.
Yeah, building healthy habits, maybe supporting each other.
Okay, so wrapping this up. For night shift workers, the real path to better health and well-being isn't really found in a supplement bottle.
Seems not.
It's more about critical thinking, questioning those health claims, and really focusing on these targeted, evidence-based strategies for nutrition and lifestyle, taking control with informed choices.
Absolutely. It empowers you to focus on what actually works based on science, not just hype.
Right. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, applying this critical lens. What other health trends or advice we just kind of accept might actually benefit from a similar deep dive? Looking into the real science and maybe the forces shaping what we're told.
That's a great question to ponder. Where else should we be applying that critical filter?